Hi and welcome. We're going to take a look at Armellodie by Gonzales. This is from his album Solo Piano Volume 1. And thank you very much, Stephen, for introducing me to Chili's music. This, I think, is wonderful. Really beautiful melodies, well constructed, and lots to get stuck into. The melody of this piece, let's have a listen to the right hand with the pedal. So there we have a 4-bar chunk. Big stretches, and it's encouraging us to have a nice loose wrist as we rock from the A to the F sharp, to the B to the F sharp. And then we have a tighter, higher bit. And Chili has made the melody by using enclosures, a little decoration around an A, and then a little decoration around an F sharp to answer it. So we have a 4-bar chunk with big intervals. And then tighter, a decoration of an A leading to a decoration of an F sharp. And get to know the melody. Just play the melody a few times, listen to it, sing it as you go. The left hand, meanwhile, it has these big open voiced chords. We're in D major, aren't we? There's a D chord. The second chord in the second bar is a G chord. Happens to be a G7 for that beautiful harmony. So he could have written, it would have been a little unimaginative, but to the G chord. With nice tight closed positions. And then I was using a version of the G chord there, wasn't I? But we'd have a different sound world if we have these big open spread voicings. D chord is D, F, sharp and A. G chord is G, B, D with the F sharp as the 7th. Big stretch, G chord. So we've got to know where we're going. And if I just play those first 8 bars, notice I'm keeping my hand fairly spread out. I'm not bothering to go back to a... That said, we also want our hand to be very relaxed, as always. Let's have a listen. But just the pedal. So the pedal is working each time for a bar, because a bar's worth of left hand is the harmony for that bar. And notice that as I start the next bar, my pedal comes up and quickly back down again. Up and quickly back down again. Up and quickly back down again. So that there's no blurring of the harmonies. I guess for bars 5 to 8, we need to be a bit more careful about the pedal, because the melody is using chromatic notes and scalar bits, and that could get... Let's just try it. I'll just hold the pedal for that bar. It's a little bit blurry. If I kept going, of course, we wouldn't notice that so much. Let's try that. I was doing 1 pedal per bar. It works actually, it's okay. But just be a little bit cautious. I'll just try pedaling twice per bar for that passage. Doesn't work because we need the bass note to be held on to. Let's move on to the second chunk. It's basically the same idea repeated. watch out for that D there, that can catch us out. And he's put a little tenuto sign on that D sharp, as he did in bar 6 before, because that's a note that's not in D major. He's making that a major chord where we would have expected a minor one. We'll come to that more in a minute. So let's emphasize it. Enjoy the D sharp because it's unexpected. And then he leads us back to another section. Which brings me to an interesting harmonic idea that Chile uses. We've already looked at how the first 4 bars oscillate between chord 1 and chord 4. Very beautiful. Try working with that, and some tunes will surely come to mind. But what does Chile do after that? He uses a really, really useful progression to know about, and it's the circle of fourths. Circle of fourths. The interval of a fourth is that. E to A is a fourth, for example here. E to A, if I go down, is a fifth. So fourth up is the same thing as a fifth down. Circle of fourths, circle of fifths, it's all sort of the same thing. Let's think of it going that way, so I'm going to call it the circle of fourths for now. So if I'm in C major, let's just think in C major for a moment, just because it's an easier key to think about. E would take us to an A would take us to a D would take us to a G would take us to a C. And don't forget, I'm in C major. So let's just think through that progression. E goes to A, goes to D, goes to G, lands up on C, back to our tonic chord. Now if I put triads on each of those, I'm in C major, so what have we got? We've got E minor, A minor, D minor, G major, landing on C to finish. There's something quite satisfying about that. Did you notice I sneaked in, not deliberately, I have to say, some sevenths there, which brings me to the next point. Those chords will sound nicer. Not necessarily nicer, but different, a bit more edgy if we add a seventh to each chord. To add a seventh to the E chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I'm going to add a D to the mix. Have a listen. You'll notice a pattern. Now then, we've already said that that chord was minor, that chord was minor, that. What would happen if we change some of them? Because that's what Chile's doing here. Let's go for a major chord on the A instead of a minor. It sounds fine. Sort of lifts it somehow. By the way, I'm doing this fingering, so hopefully you can see clearly what I'm playing. It's not a fingering I'd recommend. We could even, and Chile does this, I'll leave you to discover it. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but he does this as well. Let's do every chord in that progression as major. works really well in the tonic chord. Seventh is great too, for that specific sound, but I think sixths work really well for the tonic chord. Have a play with that progression yourself. We were there in C major, and you'll see how Chile uses the same thing in this piece. Now then, we were at bar 17. Let's carry on. We've got the first of our rolled chords here, for which we're going to need, if I had a penny for every time I said it, really relaxed hands. We always need relaxed hands, but don't be afraid to think of a little bit of that wrist motion going on. Not over-consciously, but be free to use that. And I think it's left going up to right is what's happening. Should we keep going slowly? Another roll there. You could roll it more slowly. Or a little bit quicker. Entirely your call. This is a beautiful bit. And I think that will need a little bit of drilling. It's quite tricky. We're having to move around quite quickly. Let's have a look at the right hand. Definitely the fifth there to get ready for that. And then it's E minor, isn't it? And one in the left hand. Third finger, fourth, whatever you like really. I think I'd want to do that a few times, because there's a lot of movement to get to that chord. I would drill that. And then I might go just from there. Do I know my E minor triad? And then gradually build it up. So we've got a roll there, but not here. We can't roll here because there's only one note. Keeping this hand beautifully smooth and legato. We need to know where we're going, don't we? Find that lovely little bell ringing out. And then for bar 25, let's go nice and slowly. I think a fourth finger on that A just gets us set up for the next bit. A little bit of chromaticism. Lovely scoop up there. Enjoy that note. Shall I play that phrase a few times? We've got 3 against 2, haven't we? Together. One last time and I'll carry on. And those few notes around the D, F sharp, I see them as just linking up to this. Where have we gone? To keep it smooth. And that right hand is tricky. And that fingering is so that it's smooth from there to there. Can we keep it a smooth line? Some big stretches there. We have some more tenuto signs on those 2 notes, don't we? Just a little bit of a lean. And then we have this lovely middle section. The structure of this piece is just perfect. It's got a musical sandwich. And we've now arrived at the middle. And for this ripple, Chile's has plucked out some notes of the D pentatonic scale. Pentatonic scale is number 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6. Let me pluck out those three. Let me just play that same chord sequence we looked at before over that ripple. I'm doing 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, progression down here. It somehow works. Anything to do with the pentatonic scale, I'll invent a melody this time, will work. Sorry, I snuck in a note that wasn't in the pentatonic. Sorry, that's what I heard in my head. But you get the idea. Pentatonic scale is gold dust. We were at bar 40. So, really fluid. It's not tricky, is it? It's lovely. And take your time. We're in no rush here at all. Often when we see music with lots of notes and lots of ink on the page, our brain goes into panic mode. Try and resist that. And these left-hand chords we know so well now. Chord 1 goes to chord 4 with these wonderful spread voicings. Chord 3, chord 6. And that ending might catch us out. It's a beautiful section, that, isn't it? A moment of sort of stillness in the middle. And then the final section, we're back to the material we know. I think it would be helpful to learn the melody by heart so that we know where we're going for these octaves. This is where work you did at the very start, getting familiar with the melody, will have been useful. Bit of chromatic. And there's a sort of unwritten rule, it's probably a written rule, that we use our fourth finger for black keys when we're doing octaves. It doesn't always work, but I think it does here. Together. Oof, don't worry about it. Do whatever feels right at the time. And it's just the thumb flicking up to the pinky. But yeah, we need to know where we're going. Am I squarely on the keys? Check that you're in the right place before you play. And the left hand there shouldn't throw any surprises. Again, fourth finger there. There's a lot going on here, isn't there? Big stretch, octaves, we're moving around a lot. You'll find when you know the music, hopefully, it'll just happen. That's the position we want to be at. I'm going to keep going. This we know already. Some subtle changes aren't there, but we know the material. That's very beautiful. And it's very effective because he's written contrary motion. That's a really effective thing. It's collapsing in on itself. The chords we know. I like the idea of repeating notes quickly with different fingers. It just makes sure we've got them really well articulated. It's a bit of a fussy thing, but I think it's worth it. Those are two chords that will take a bit of drilling. That's quite easy for me, that one, because I've got big pause, but if you haven't. And another thing, there's some dissonance in there. I think it's delicious dissonance. Should we just stop and think what's going on? It's an A chord. It's the dominant leading us back to D. There's an A chord, and he's put the 7th in it, which is there. And he's also sharpened the 5th. That's creating that, which we also called augmented. And at the top, he's got, what's he got? It's the 9th. A B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We call it the 9th. We could call it the 2nd, but we tend to call it the 9th. We get familiar with that sound. Can you find it all over the piano? Can you find it on a different scale? There it is on a G, for example. It's got a lovely character to it. And again, we know that from bar 24. What a superb bass note. And because we're using the pedal, that is creating all sorts of resonances through these notes as well, picking up some of the chord notes. Ah, it's lovely. Beautiful 7th chords. I don't think there'll be any surprises now, but let's run through to the end. I think that D can leach into that bar, why not? But I don't think we want the A to link into the following bar. I think it's better. I'm talking about the pedal, by the way. But there at the end. Hold it on for as long as you want. It's a great piece, really well constructed. There's lots in there for us to get our composer's brain around as well. And lots of pianistic ideas as well. Relaxed, rolly wrists, and a gorgeous singable tune. Sing the tune, get to really know it. Can you play it by heart? Thank you very much, Stephen, for introducing me to the music of Chili Gonzales. I wish you all every success with this piece. Bye-bye.